world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
How does PwC take your company to the leading edge? They bring the sharpest minds in tech to your team, so you can bring the ideas that will transform your business. They're passionate about your industry, so you can walk into any room with every advantage. And they're with you every step of the way, so you can know you're headed in the right direction. PwC builds for what's next, so you can get there now. Get started at pwc.com/us/leading edge.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So then I'm doing IT, and when I go to plug the servers in, they become sentient, and they won't let us access our network unless we forward their chain emails and memes to more and more and more people, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant finds and invites best fit candidates to apply, so you can discover talent you may have missed. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Welcome to No Question About That. We are talking about Manchester United 0, Everton 1. Possibly one of the most dreadful performances under Rúben Amorim. That's a low bar. Dharnish today. How's it going, Dharnish?
Absolutely horrific. Absolutely awful. Absolutely crap.
Yeah, all of those things. There are 500,000 words in the English language, and there are not enough of them to describe just how bad that was from United. We'll go through all of it. We'll go through the tactics, the changes, the incidents, the red card, one of the weirder ones you'll see, what Rúben Amorim got right. There won't be a very long conversation on that one. What he got wrong, much more detailed, I suspect. Maybe we should start with the lineup, though. I always get this sinking feeling in my stomach when I see two fullbacks at wing back, because we've kind of seen what happens there. How do you think about the lineup with Josh Zirkzee in as well?
I mean, needs must, I guess, without Cunha and Šeško. Yeah. But it's really clear to me that, you know, they went out in the summer and they signed a new attack, this shiny new attack. And the good parts that we've seen of Man United this season have been when all three of them have played. When two of them went missing today because of injury, it was pretty clear that it just felt like a performance that was last season. It felt very much like I was watching the Europa League final again, or I was watching one of those Old Trafford games where they got battered by Bournemouth, or they really struggled against Southampton. And like right within the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh crap. Because I could tell, like, Moyes is a tricky customer, man. Moyes got it set up. He knew exactly what he was doing. They went man for man, pressed the back three, kept pushing them back every minute of the game. But the lineup was needs must, but you can tell that there's rust in those players that haven't played. Mazraoui he's just not a good attacking wing-back. Even when he got it in spaces wide in the first half, he would muck the cross up. And essentially we have a system where wing-backs are very crucial, they're very important, and only one of them looks dangerous at the minute. Dogu, Dalot, Mazraoui, and then Diallo. Diallo is the only one that can provide you with something. And that's quite bad.
It is bad. It's a real weakness in this side. And I don't know whether that's it's part of the reason why we've been a bit more direct this season, I guess, just getting into those front people early. But it also means you don't get those sort of overloads and triangles that we saw at Sporting in attacking areas. And then just the basic end product. Patrick Dorgu, 1 assist, no goals. He's in the bottom 20th percentile for almost every attacking metrics amongst fullbacks. There's no ranking for wingbacks, right? So he should be even higher. I mean, it's bad, right? His output is bad for a fullback, and I hate having to go at him because he's a young player, but like when he had that shot in the second half, just knew nothing was going to come of it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you did get that sinking feeling. Obviously, Dallow's pretty much the same. I mean, he's even worse in the sense in that he doesn't attack the same spaces as Dorgu does, and he'll always come back onto his right foot if he's on the left wing and slow the game down. And obviously, Mazraoui's just, I mean, he doesn't offer a lot going, as you said, going forward, and he doesn't really even get into those attacking spaces either because he's not a brilliant athlete. So it was a little odd. I you feel sorry for Amorim a little bit because obviously he's got two of his principal attackers out, both a bit unlucky, really. It's very innocuous. Sesko injury a couple of weeks ago. Cunha somehow got a cut on his head this week.
Is that what happened? They said it was an accident. So I was like, wait, has he weed himself or something? Like, that's what it sounded like. Like, he's had an accident. But he's weed himself.
He was supposed to turn the Christmas lights on in Altrincham, and he skipped out of it because of this accident in training. It was such odd wording, wasn't it? You think that something
really
weird has
bizarre.
happened. Yeah.
I mean, why would you say an accident? Maybe they were playing volleyball or something and somebody launched something off his head. But it was really apparent that, like, the best connection in this team, or the most productive connection in this team that's building, is Diallo and Mbeumo. Right. And for the first 45 minutes, it was like, when that was taken away, it felt like it was just really, really tough to create clear-cut chances. Even in the second half, and by the way, the first 45 minutes was atrocious, possibly the worst under Amorim. In the second half, I was like, okay, fine, look, we are here now. We're in this dire situation. Surely they can find some way to turn it around. But they were snatching at everything, I felt. It was like, I know Amorim's coached. There's been far too many games where we've had Amorim trying to break down a low block, and it hasn't worked. Felt like it was the Europa League final we were watching again. But it was also a game where heavy touches, bad passes, snatching at shots, forcing the issue. It was also just bad from the players as well. But I feel like we've just witnessed this too many times under Amorim. Mm-hmm. Now, does this cut out all the good credit and all the niceness that we had before the international break? Are we back to square one now?
I don't think so. I mean, I think progress isn't linear, right? So you expect some bumps along the road, and that's what we've got here. The one thing I'd say is that the suggestion that there's a limitation in Amorim's game model, especially when we have the ball, is still valid, right? Our best results have been against teams, largely speaking, where we don't have as much of the ball, and it's more of a transitional plan, or we go long like we did against Liverpool. It's like 40% of it was launched, and when we have a lot of the ball, we just struggle. And this game was just particularly like a great evidence of that, because we had so much of the ball after Everton got their own man sent off. We should talk about that. By the way, just funny as fuck, right? And so we had 75% of the ball after they got the man sent off. But you got, and it was so ridiculous having Shaw and Yoro as the principal playmakers in this side, and we just always had, there was a still frame that they showed on Sky, and it a straight line, 5 at the back. Casemiro and Fernandes sat in front of them, and there's 3 up front, and it was just as rigid as. Like, it's no less rigid than a 4-4-2 from the 1980s. It just happens to have one fewer attacker on the pitch, and we never adjusted that at all. And there were lots of tweaks, like even if you don't want to depart from the Bible that is 3-4-3, there were tweaks that could be made, and it just never really happened.
Thou shalt not change 3-5-2. Thou shalt not change 3 centre-backs at the back.
The 11th commandment, right? Yeah. I mean, it really is. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the... We've given Amorim a lot of praise, haven't we, in recent weeks, and...
Deservedly so.
You can come
Deservedly
off...
so.
Deservedly so, right? And the praise is because he made, changes to the way they press, changes to the out-of-possession shape, the direct approach, which made a lot of sense because we've got some great runners, especially Brian and Mbeumo going forward. But then it starts to become predictable if you do that every single week. right? And it felt like, as you said, that Everton was set up. I mean, they were all right in the first 15 minutes, but they were pretty comfortable, weren't they, Everton? And we know
They were
what
the better
pattern
team.
looked like.
They were the better
the
team
whole way through.
The better team first 15 minutes and better team whole way through. Just so many things I just really didn't like in attack in the second half. It was incredulous that we're sat here, facing 10 men for 45 minutes and you're thinking, all right, fine, blood, guts, and fury, go at it. Make us forget how pathetic the first 45 minutes were. And they just didn't. Why is Brian Mboma so wide? Why is Bruno Fernandes so deep as a quarterback? Why is Luke Shaw just like a mannequin on the edge of the penalty area? Gary Neville made a good point. He made a very good point, and he said, Luke, go. That was where the space was.
Yeah.
We saw Arsenal against Sunderland expertly break down a low block in that second half, the 2-2 draw last week. Calafiori kept going down in that half space. He's a defender. He kept darting past them and it created spaces. The only time where they did create a decent chance was when Mount made that run in the half space, headed it back down to Bruno Fernandes, and Fernandes hit it over. But it was more so, there's so many things I didn't like. All the attacks kept breaking down. Why were you putting in so many crosses? Do you realize that the guy who scored the most headers, Casemiro, hello, the uncle's gone off the pitch now. All right, uncle isn't here anymore. It's just the kids. Uncle
Feels
isn't
like
going to hold your hand.
We put in more crosses today without Benjamin Sesko in the side than we put in all season with Benjamin Sesko in the side. It was Moyes in the dugout at Old Trafford. We had to put 82 crosses in.
Of course it was Moyes. Of course it was Moyes of all people in the dugout.
I know.
I think it was.
It felt very one-dimensional. Some of that, didn't it? It was get it out to Ahmad. Ahmad cuts back onto his left foot and sticks the cross in, and a few from the left-hand side as well. But Josh Zirkzee, big guy, not a great header of the ball. The one header he did get some purchase on was the one where Pickford saved it, diving to his right. Good header, good save. The other, he had a hat trick of headed chances in the second half, didn't he? The other two, one was over and one was a bit soft. I don't think he doesn't leap. He's not got a Ronaldo-esque leap on him. He doesn't really produce a lot of power with his headers, even though he's a big guy. He got involved in the play quite a lot, Josh Zirkzee, and you could kind of see he's rusty or see the kind of player he is, because he does nice stuff on the ball, but then he doesn't turn and sprint towards the box after he's laid it off. Then there's a big gap. There's a Josh Zirkzee-sized gap in the box there.
There was a period in the match where I think there was 20 minutes left. After, I think, the first 15 minutes in the second half where they'd come out aggressive. All right, they weren't really creating much. But after sort of Bruno would fizz it into someone on the penalty area, maybe it'd be Zirkzee, lay it off, deft touch, someone would have a shot. That's how the Mbeumo chance came. I thought, okay, if you keep doing that, you can at least pepper the goal. But it became this ambling around of 3 or 4 players in the same wide position, and okay, cross it, and oh god, it's being overhit again, and okay, we'll cross it again, and Zirkzee will try and head it in. There was just not enough chances created against 10 men when you needed a goal. Not enough created, not enough urgency in the last 20 minutes. And there was nothing to turn to on the bench. I know that he put Dalot on, and I was like, God, is that really where we're at? We're putting Diogo Dalot off on the pitch, but I don't know what else he could have done, because there's no attacking depth in this team. I think he put Mainu on, and he put Mainu as the most advanced midfielder and Bruno as the deepest. There wasn't much attacking depth. It's a little bit clueless, and it's all a little bit, where is Harry Maggs so I can punt the ball into him so he can thunder it into the net?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Mainu and Mount, I guess, were the most attacking players he could have brought on. Che Lacey was on the bench. Big ask for him in a game like this to come and make it completely different, especially since Ahmad was in that right wing back spot, and Mbeumo, I'm not sure. I guess you could have shifted Mbeumo through the centre or something like that. I mean, we had a spare man at the back for 75 minutes of this game, right? There's the 3 of them wandering, should we just pass it to each other all the time? I haven't had a look at the past match, but I bet that back 3 passed it to each other a lot today. Yeah, just pointless possession. And so I don't know whether Lacey could have really made a difference, given who he would have replaced, and you'd shift it around. So, yeah, just not a lot of options. Amorim spoke about Chido Obi as well in his pre-match press conference a couple of days ago, Friday, and said he basically said he was in the team too soon, which is kind of, I think, what we all thought.
Yeah.
Right. Just wasn't quite ready. And they've had to put him back into the under-21s this season. It's fine. He's 17 years old. Not everyone has to be Lamine Yamal at 17 and be one of the best players in the world. It's fine. It may take him a few years to learn his game, but there just weren't options. Lots of talent in the age group teams, but none of them quite ready yet, I would say. And so the squad looks a bit thin, which is fine most of the time if you don't have injuries and suspensions. We haven't got a lot of games this season, but it kind of showed tonight that we just had so few options on the bench.
I agree that there was also just, you could tell the pressure was getting to them in the second half, and they were just doing desperate things and weird stuff. We've scored 8 goals from set pieces this season, and in the second half of that game, I saw 2 ridiculous corner routines. Do you remember that? There was 2. There was one Mount corner where I think he was trying to cross it to Fernandes for a Paul Scholes volley. An Everton player got in the way of it. There was another where Bruno played it short, and then he got it back, and then he crossed it straight into a defender. It's like, just cross it, put set pieces in, be calm and fashion a chance. But I think they were getting very snatchy, and they realized the game was getting away from them, and Moyes' low block of death was actually working, and they were I think they were out of ideas, essentially. And they've been kind of out of ideas attacking wise in the second half of games, and Tottenham against Nottingham Forest, but I think momentum was kind of saving them. And now I think it's push on back to, not necessarily back to square one, but back to finding out the answers to the questions that have been imposed under Amorim for a long time.
New Year, same extra value meals at McDonald's. So now get 2 snack wraps, plus fries, and a medium soft drink for just $8.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
I mean, it feels like such a big lost opportunity because a win today would have taken United up to 4th. I mean, there's a lot of mediocre sides, I'd say. Arsenal are, miles ahead of everyone else, both in terms of their ability to win games and depth. At the moment, it'd be a shock at this point if they don't win the league. City are flawed, clearly lost again this weekend. Liverpool are dreadful. Let's all have a laugh at them. Getting back to the 6 losses in 7 games, they just keep rolling that one over, don't they? But there's just a lot of mediocre teams, so the opportunity's there. But unfortunately, we are a mediocre team as well. And Amorim didn't seem to have the answers to that today. You can say there's not much choice off the bench, but he could have shifted the shape around and changed the pattern of the game. But it was the same thing over and over again from the 14th minute onwards. We haven't actually talked about the Everton red card, which is just, definitely the best moment of this game. Deary me. I've watched it about 75 times now. I mean, it's really soft. I guess, they kept putting the relevant part of the law up on the screen to say, a strike above the head is red unless it is negligible content. I don't know, contact. I don't know what that means in this context. How do you define negligible contact? I mean, you kind of tickled him. It wasn't much, was it? Anyway, just mad and fun.
Yeah. A relative. Our old Batman slap. I thought at that point that the game would turn, but he's so fuming as well after he does it. I think he's still going at Michael Keane after the slap. But, letter of the law, clearest red card I've ever seen in my life.
Sure, yeah. I guess. I mean, I just imagine Luke Shaw and Matthias de Ligt going at it. I think I'd be pretty furious if one of them got a red card for that. I don't even know why he's so mad. He did give the ball away.
No, I mean, I think
he gave the ball away. Michael Keane told him, you gave the fucking ball away. And then he's just lost it completely.
I think they have a little bit of a shoving match. What I can't get over is nobody in Everton, nobody argued against that red. Nobody said this is ridiculous. Nobody went up to the referee. They were all just yeah, good one there, yeah. I think somebody ran over to Moyes to get some instructions. They were like, right, lads, carry on. And on we go. Ridiculous incident. ridiculous game. I can't believe what I've just watched. It's more embarrassing when you think of they shot themselves in the foot. We're on one bloody leg, and they still couldn't put them away. It's I don't get why it's when United lose like this, it happens almost every year. It just feels like the most ridiculous thing in the world. You know what I mean? It's like they lose in such ridiculous manner, or like they lose in such hysterical, embarrassing ways, whether it's this, whether it's Grimsby Town. It's just Everton getting a red card for themselves and we still lose. Amorim getting the tactics board out against Grimsby Town. It's one embarrassing milestone after another.
Yeah, it doesn't need that tactics board. We all know exactly what it is and how they're going to play, and weren't able to change it. Half-time on the Sky Sports coverage said Roberto Martinez, who made the most obvious statement ever, which is one of those or both of those wide centre-backs need to get nearer their wing-backs so the game isn't so stretched and so they can play a bit more relational football. I don't think he actually put it like that, but which was exactly right? Rather than Hail Mary passes, just make the overload, you'll create the space and you'll get in better positions to put crosses in. Because I think the thing about how many crosses we put in is they were all kind of floated crosses. They weren't dangerous ones, cut back from the byline. They were floated in, much harder to score from. We weren't creating those chances. They were just, a percentage football, basically. And it's the disappointing and frustrating thing, because as much as we've had some good results, Chelsea game was a freak one, but then we had Liverpool, Brighton, and I forget the other victory now. That's how long ago it was. And then the Forest and Spurs games were a little disappointing, but this one just feels like not back to square one, but back to all the problems we've seen with this side.
Yeah.
And can we even really blame tiredness? We had an extra couple of days.
They looked a little bit rusty, I think. They looked like maybe they'd been on the sofa too long and had too many potato chips. But it was very much. It's like you said, there was very, very little penetrative runs. But your point is spot on. I give it all to Simone Inzaghi. And for those people who watch Inter Milan, Bastoni plays in defence for them, but he's always running into attack. That was the ample time to do it. Push Luke Shaw up, boost him down the touchline. Do it for Euro on the other side. You're allowed to throw caution to the wind. They were winning all the aerial duels anyway when they came back. It's insane. There was we had 5 at the back, 3 Everton defenders, and they would win the aerial duel each time. It was just ridiculous. There's been more than enough games where Amorim has actually turned it around by going gung ho. I think of the Lyon game. Think of they lost on penalties. The Grimsby, they still brought it back from 2-0. There's been more than enough games for him to do that. It never felt like they fully got out of third or fourth gear to switch up and really attack the goal. As towards the end, maybe just because they were camped around there, but it felt like we were waiting for somebody to do something and it never came.
Yeah. I don't think they constructed any high-quality chances, basically. It's 20-something shots, but it's 1.7 XG, and it's just a lot of low-quality stuff. I guess apart from that Xerxes one that looked like it was going to nestle in the corner. What did you think of Everton's goal? Because it struck, Dewsbury Hall, not really known as a dribbler, and Bruno a bit weak, Yoro a bit weak. There, no one came out to block the shot. Felt like that was preventable somewhere.
Le Mans maybe a bit weak as well.
Yeah, it's not right in the corner, is it? I guess he was, I think because De Ligt didn't attack the ball, he was probably covering the angle, so maybe we can forgive him a little bit. But yeah, it's quite close to him.
Maybe I can forgive him just because of how good he's been. But it's there was just too many instances where where I was surprised watching the screen, watching one of Dewsbury Hall or Grealish or Cheno Barry sort of dribble past 2-3 players, and you were going, oh, they're just not ready for it. They really just weren't up for it, and Everton were. The goal, it's a great strike, to be fair. Maybe he could have got a better flick on it, gone past him again aggressively and sort of put him off enough for the shot. He kind of has a free run at the goal. It's kind of a free shot when he hits it. But I just keep thinking of in the game there's too many times you think the Everton attackers were just a little bit too clever for them. I think of like in the 75th minute where they bought like 5 minutes just because Grealish kept buying fouls, or Barry would win a flick on and they would go down the touchline. It just felt like they schooled us completely, and the goal started from that. It was it's a good strike, but Euro should have really been stronger and then should have been aggressive again or gotten the yellow card.
Yeah, I mean, either of them, Bruno or Euro, could have fouled him or made a tackle or anything. It was really soft. And it feels like we've conceded a lot of stupid goals like that, preventable goals that you're like, this is not a system problem. This is individuals not doing things that are pretty basic. Because, I mean, last season, actually, we were pretty tight defensively after Amorim came in. And you'd expect it with 5 defenders like strung across the back and 2 sitting in front, right? We should be pretty tight. And I think you could point to quite a lot of the goals in the Spurs, Forest and this game that you'd probably go, yeah, could have prevented that somehow.
Just moments of stupid defense. It happened a lot when Amorim first came. Just moments of like really, really stupid thickness that I don't think Amorim could have prevented really, but just make no mistake about it, they had more than enough time, I think, to get into the game second half.
Yeah.
And they just didn't. They really just didn't create enough, too much ambling around, not enough intensity. And it almost felt like there was no ideas coming from Amorim a little bit. It just I don't know what the go-to plan was in the second half. Try flick it up for Xerxes' head? Is that really where we're at?
Yeah, I guess that was it. Yeah, there isn't really a plan B, is there? I mean, I guess it's set pieces and Harry Maguire going up front have been the plan B so far, but mostly it's this. And, I think we'd praised the fact that United have been able to sustain attacks a little bit more. They didn't really do it today, right? And that's where you can move a low block out of position. They weren't able to do that. And Everton were able to break and run it into the corners and waste a lot of time. And Jack Grealish bought a lot of fouls, which he always does.
So many.
Ahmad a bit dumb. Yeah.
So annoying.
It is so annoying. I think the frustration is, and like we can kind of shout about it until we're blue in the face, couldn't we? But like having your spare men being 2 central defenders for 75 minutes of the game.
It's a big problem.
Yeah, it was just totally. I think most coaches, even if they're a back 3 coach, would have gone, okay, 4 at the back makes sense now. You don't need that spare man to be Lenny Yoro, who, as fine a player as he is, he's not likely to craft a really high quality chance, is he? And that's the frustration, because now you can point to Amorim and go, well, that's your stubbornness again.
Live by the system, die by the system. And we've had far too many matches where we can say, well, is the system actually working? When you look at other teams, like I look at maybe Man City or Arsenal, Liverpool last season, although they're shit now, so ha ha ha. When they are trying to break down a low block, they're kind of camped on the edge of the penalty area. They go round and round and side to side. But it's when I wanted to see, like, I don't know, I just keep having flashbacks of Rúben Diaz on the edge of the penalty area when City are looking for a goal. Euro and De Ligt was in a back 3, but still kind of deep and away from Everton's penalty area, push up and move forward 10 yards, because that's when I felt like they looked like scoring. But it didn't feel like that. It was still too slow, and they were still too far back. And I'd also just like to see Bruno Fernandes in these situations in and around goal and not as a quarterback. You don't need him there. You can put Luke Shaw there as a quarterback. Push him wide. Push him in the half spaces. Bruno is one of the best chance creators they've ever had in the Premier League. So why on earth is he sat on the half centre circle?
Yeah, or even worse, taking the ball off the goalkeeper, which he did on several occasions. I can't remember, it was like in the 80-something minute, and he was the man taking it off Lomans. Makes no sense at all. You want to get him as close to the goal as possible. Yeah, yeah. It was, a lot of that was a mess, and you'd imagine that he would be able to see it. Is he just, like, did he have no ideas?
I don't...
Literally had no other ideas at this point.
It felt like they really ran out of ideas. last 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it puts us in a difficult position. I think it was 5 games unbeaten, 3 good victories, the 2 draws, bit messy, but late goals come back. You at least point to the spirit. And then you look at the fixture list up until the end of the year, and it would have been this one: Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Bournemouth, Villa, Newcastle and Wolves, right? And you're like, none of those teams are playing well.
Wolves twice. Yeah, Wolves twice. I'll take Rob Edwards, the guy who's only in a job because he's kind of handsome.
Yeah. I mean, but it was such a massive opportunity, and it still may work out all right? You know, I bounce back ability and all of that. They may put in a great performance at Palace next weekend, but it doesn't half look like a really big and important 3 points drops. And now we're 3 games without a win. You know,
all of a sudden,
all of a sudden,
yeah, 3 games without a win. It's a crucial part of the season. That season, it's the part of the season where winter really hits and it gets cold, and you can really, really sense where every team in the Premier League is probably going, in what direction, and what they're going to have to do to get where they want to be towards the end of the season. So we're getting a feel of what is wrong really with this team now, and what's going to happen going forward. And I just feel like it's just such a deflating result. It's honestly such a deflating result because they have to go to a very difficult place now and pick themselves up and try and pick that momentum up again, because I think we're 13 games in now. We have had, I think 12 or 13 games, we have had more than enough evidence of what works so far and what doesn't work so far and where they need to improve it. It's just up to the manager now to improve it. There's also this thing of, with Amorim and Man United, because there's always a fine line between, well, no, because we were really, really bad for 1 year, and it took him a long, long time to change it. Whenever there's a embarrassing defeat like this, the crowd is always going to turn on him very quickly.
It's the final chapter of the college football playoff.
It comes down to this.
Miami's unmatched grit and tenacity through the postseason has led them home. The national title now within reach.
They are confident. They are battle-tested.
Undefeated Indiana, led by Chris Signetti and Heisman winner Fernando Mendoza, have the chance to take home their first title and claim college football immortality.
The most remarkable turnaround in the history of college football.
The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Kraft Mac and Cheese is better than 90s hip-hop. We'll remind you of your childhood without making you feel incredibly old. Kraft Mac and Cheese. Best thing ever.
Yeah, he's got no credit in the bank at all.
No.
And so I agree with you. I think patience is always quite thin until he gets a long string of results where we're playing good football and winning a lot of matches and picking up points. And I think we can all have enough patience to go, there'll be bumps in the road. Progression isn't linear. We don't expect to go from 15th to very good in one season. It's just the frustration that this would felt like a United under Amorim last season, that there is the opportunity there, that all the momentum that we thought we'd built up has now disappeared. And yes, the crowd were very quick to turn on him. You know, boos at the end at Old Trafford, that's not necessarily for Amorim. It's for the performance as a whole, of course, but he's the leader. He's the man in charge. He takes responsibility for all of this. And I thought we got over some of this. But the limitations, especially when chasing a game against a low block, are there for all to see, right? It's not a surprise. And Moyes canny enough to know. Palace next weekend, they have this problem because their squad isn't really built for European football and they're in Europe this season. So I think they've had quite a few mixed results. They are playing on Thursday and away at Strasbourg, I think, or Chelsea Reserves is also known. And we should have an advantage there, right? We've got a whole week off.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get, Cunha will be back. It sounds like Cunha will definitely be back.
Hopefully, yeah.
Sesko not. Martinez will get another week of training. He was on the bench today, so I guess he's closer and closer to making a comeback. Should be advantage United, but this is a good Palace side with plenty of players who can hurt us as well.
They're very good defensively, and they're really good at playing in a compact shape, and they've got really, really good attackers on the counter. So basically, they can execute the game plan that Everton did better. They've got Ismaila Sarr, they've got Mateta, who's an absolute handful. He can win more aerial duels than Tiano Barry could today. They've played really well under Glasner now. They've really come on. They're one of the best teams in the league. It's the tricky thing is it's probably going to be another game of watching Man United have most of the ball and try to break this team down. Just remain calm, because it's going to be a difficult environment. It's going to be a tough week now, because losing to 10 men in that situation is going to really up the ante, really up the pressure. We've seen Amorim can handle the pressure before, though. So go into that Palace game with the belief and the fire that you could make it better and you can make it right and get the season back on track.
I mean, but it is set up. I mean, sure, the systems will match up, but the way Palace will play with 35% possession or something like that, that's imagine, and then play on the break, is set up to cause damage to United. And we know that we don't create a lot of chances against teams that sit back and compress space around their own box. So are we going to see anything different? I mean, I just hope to God we're not going to see Mazraoui and Dorgu, or Dalot and Dorgu, or Mazraoui and Dalot, whatever combination of those three at wing back. Really does feel like a film we've seen before. But what else? Can you come straight back into the side, I assume, for Xerxes?
I think so. Yeah, probably. And maybe you start Mount and you press high.
Yeah.
Perhaps you start with Cunha, Mbeumo, Mount, and you press really high, and you restore Diallo and Mbeumo's connection, and hopefully Dorgu has a decent game. You control most of the ball. Hopefully, then what happens is you have two players who can drop into the tens, because that wasn't really happening against Everton, right? I mean, I know that for some reason, I don't know why some people hate Cunha and some people love him. I still think both of them have been terrific this season, because they know what to do in the positions that they're playing in. When both of them drop, they drag players out. That creates more space for everybody else. So hopefully Cunha comes back and it's a big jolt in the arm for United.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw today when Ahmad dropped back into right wing back, United were more dangerous, so at least getting into those final third positions, and he doesn't really drop into the half spaces in quite the way that Cunha does. So no. I think it does have a knock-on effect, yeah. Cunha's not got the numbers this season that we'd like him to get. I mean, what did he get? 15, 16 goals for Wolves in the league that last season?
I think so. Still been good. I still think he's been good.
He's still been good, yeah. And I can't put my finger on exactly why he's not scoring as many goals. I mean, he is playing quite deep to support the midfield. Deep. That might be part of it, of course. Yeah. No, those sound like the right kind of changes for me. I would play Mount just to up the level of intensity in this sort of game and win a few free high balls. Because United are very good this season for high turnovers. Get a lot of those. And then do quite well to drop back when the press is beaten. If it is beaten. But yeah, probably. It's so flat today. You can't go to... There has to be accountability, right? We moaned about that for years.
Yeah.
And someone's got to pay the price for not performing very well, I guess.
We'll see. It's a huge game now, really. It's just as big as this game was.
Yeah. I mean, because we're looking at this going, it's an opportunity with the way the results went this season, this weekend. Could have ended up fourth today. Now it's a huge game because if we don't win it, it's 4 without a win.
God, yeah, that sounds
bad. Pressure, yeah, it does sound bad, doesn't it? God, pressure's right back on. Yeah.
Oh, God. I thought things were great.
Yeah, I know. We thought we'd turn the corner. We weren't shit again. We wouldn't have to moan about another loss. God. Yeah. Do you? What do you reckon about the winter window? I mean, I know one game shouldn't shape our transfer window. Clearly, they're thinking long game and all of that kind of stuff. And it's not a panic buy anyone's suggesting. But as much for the fact that the league is open, there are a lot of crap teams, and we really do need European football. And we've got AFCON coming up, and we know how thin we look when there's a couple of injuries. It feels like it's a kind of no-brainer to pull some transfer spending forward if it's possible to do the deals you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to get players out, that's fine. I think Kobbie Mainoo will probably push for a January loan again, by the looks of things. Amad Diallo and Mbeumo out of AFCON is absolutely huge. I think you probably need 2 fullbacks and a striker. It's January, so it's nobody ever spends in January. It's difficult for me to say that, but genuinely, this team will need that. Mbeumo and Cunha have been dragging this team above where they should have been, perhaps, at the start of the season, and that's why there was glimmers of hope or shooting lights of recovery. I think you probably have to dip into some credit card funds, put it on the 0% credit card and pay it off later.
Yeah, well, it's not 0%, I'll tell you that.
No, I know, yeah.
Yeah. If only it was. Yeah, I mean, United have a lot of headroom under PSR, and we're going to move to the squad cost rule next season. United have even more headroom under that system, to the point that they can probably go ahead and spend more than 200 million next summer, depending on where they get in terms of European qualification will shape their thinking. I mean, the worst of all scenarios is that you qualify for the Conference League because there's really no money in it, but you need a big squad to cope with it.
Conference League, oh my God.
I know. I mean, I actually like the Conference League for what it's done, but it's just really shit if you're someone like Manchester United that should be in the Champions League and you get into that one. Europa League, I mean, you probably make 40 or so million out of it, depending on how deep you go into the tournament. You do have to pay players bonuses, so it probably wipes out all the profit. But, it's a stepping stone, and you get an extra chance of getting into the Champions League and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know. The opportunities there, I guess in the past, the Glazers would not have spent that money because they only spend the money when they're desperate. They don't do it to chase stuff. Ratcliffe, Barada, Wilcox, Vivell, will they be thinking, well, we've got a target list of fullbacks and wingbacks and strikers that we're interested in? I mean, I guess the most talk is about João Gomez, who we mentioned on the pod the other week.
It's probably needed. An extra defensive midfielder is probably needed because they keep collapsing when Casemiro goes off.
Yeah, that's right. And clearly Amorim doesn't like Ugarte. I mean, he said he's struggling, didn't he, in the Friday's press conference?
Yeah,
wait a minute. He said he's struggling, has to do more in training. I mean,
you lazy git is basically what he's saying.
Pretty much, yeah, I guess. I don't know whether Amorim, people interpret it like that. I don't know whether it's Amorim's second language. I don't know if he always
maybe it's
means...
lost in translation, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I think he means show me more rather than like you're not working hard enough. I don't really see Ugarte as a player who doesn't work hard enough. I just see him as a player who's limited.
I agree there.
And so, yeah, Amorim wants him to be a player he's not. He's never going to be it. Same with Kobbie, by the way. He wants him to be a player he's not. So, yeah, we could see a bit of business there. I mean, Kobbie on loan somewhere will only happen if United can bring in an extra midfielder. So if the João Gomez deal does happen, I mean, obviously Conor Gallagher's people are trying to get him out of Atletico. I don't know if there's any interest from United there at all, other than his people are pushing it.
Links. Some links, some rumours.
Yeah, rumours and links, yeah. All right, I guess that's it for this week. We will be back with, now out of the international window, so we'll be back with a NQAT Extra. You can get that at patreon.com/NQATpod.com on your Apple podcast feed if you're interested in supporting the show. Leave us a rating and review. You can keep the review polite if you like. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Just hit 5 stars and then call us cunts. I don't really mind, honestly. The Apple algorithm doesn't take sentiment into account. Or maybe just call Dharnish a cunt.
Yeah. Call me a cunt. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. We're all good. Yeah. All friends here, honest. Dharnish you can find on the socials. I guess you'll be doing a tactical breakdown of this game.
My God, yeah, I guess so. But I don't know what's happened recently. I keep getting insults in Hindi. Somebody's found the algorithm or whatever, and it's just they realized I understand that language, and it's quite bad. It's like really racist stuff. So it's like, oh, hold on. But because it's in Hindi, nobody pays attention. But no, you can find me on Twitter, I guess, doing a tactical breakdown to this. And
don't abuse Dharnish in Hindi. Come
yeah,
on,
please,
come
on.
Yeah,
keep it in English, man.
All right. I will do a piece on Substack. I did a piece on Josh Xerxes this week. And yeah, making my case for selling him. I mean, it's not a hard case to make, honestly.
I
don't think he did much today. Yeah. It's just he doesn't fit square peg round hole in this system. Unfortunately for him, I think he'd do well back in Italy. Lower pace of football and all that. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you, Dharnish.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Catch you next time. Bye now.